Well, Josh, I know why our listeners listen to this hot podcast.
Why is that?
That's because they want to hear about how many contacts I have left.
Sure, it's our weekly segment. How many contacts does Paula have left?
Jump, contact watch.
Contact listen?
Contact listen. So I wear daily contacts because I got sensitive little eyes.
Sure.
And Josh, I have 3 left for each eye. So I have
about
enough left for 3 days.
Got it. I was going to say, how do you only have 3 left for 2 eyes?
It's a great miracle. So I have to basically, until I can get to the eye doctor and replenish my stash, I have to be very careful of like what day is worthy of the contact.
Interesting. So wait, so you not only, so for listeners who have perfect eyes, fuck off.
Get out of here.
Secondly,
My dream.
yeah, really? I mean, there's surgeries for that.
Well, I'm too scared.
Got it. Yeah, sure. For me, glasses are back in vogue, so
Ooh.
I'm fine. So is it a situation when for listeners who don't have bad eyesight, you get into this situation with contacts where you A, run out of contacts, but B, sometimes you run out of contacts and your prescription isn't good anymore, and so you
Yeah.
have to go to the eye doctor.
Yeah.
Are you in that situation?
I think they're actually pretty much the same, Josh.
But like, did your prescription expire and like they will not put
Yes.
in a new thing for contacts without seeing you again?
Yes, that is true.
Oh, they're holding your eyes hostage.
Holding my little eyes hostage. But it's been really hard because like that's a call you have to make at the beginning of the day is how important is this day going to be?
Yeah, for sure.
You know, like is today worthwhile?
And then you're halfway through the day and you're like, this would have been a great contact day.
or what a waste of contacts.
Yeah.
Yesterday I wore contacts and I'll tell you what, waste of a contact day.
Interesting.
Perfectly average day.
Huh.
Yeah.
Even with all the sunshine?
No need for me to look glam. No need for people to look directly in my eyes. They can look through the glass like a little zoo animal.
My soul is behind this glass, and you can observe it if you're
Good luck,
worthy.
buddy.
Welcome to Being Earnest, a very sincere podcast. I'm Josh.
I'm Paula.
And we're here to talk about the earnest and sincere topics of the day.
Josh, what's our topic today? I'm really excited about this one.
It's, as I twirl my mustache, bad ideas.
Just like that accent was.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, I don't know why I did that. It felt very podcasty. You know what I mean?
You know, I think it really is a good, it really leads us in well to this topic.
Sure.
Which
Me
is-
doing something terrible?
Yeah, because I want to establish right off the bat that we don't mean bad ideas like rob a bank or like wear socks on your hands. This is specifically...
2 equally bad ideas.
This, I think we're specifically focusing on earnestly bad ideas. So it's like ideas that were started off with the best of intentions.
Yes.
And ended in
Calamity.
chaos. Calamity.
Chouse.
Chouse. Ended in chouse.
Chaos.
Chaos.
Paula, do you have a particularly memorable bad idea of your own?
Ooh, of my own? Yes, I do. I forgot about this. So in middle school, right when American Idol was becoming very, very popular, and a certain gentleman named William Hung did shebangs and charmed a nation.
Sure.
And my friend Leah and I, and so we did like a school-wide American Idol.
Sure.
And my friend Leah and I did that, and we made it to the next round.
Okay.
So 3 groups made it to the next round. We did shebang, we did the dance. It was very funny. So we make it to the next round.
I don't think that's the name of the song, Paula.
Shebangs.
She bangs.
What was I
With a
saying?
space. Shebang.
Whatever.
like it's a part of Greece.
Shebang, shebang. Okay. Anyway, so we get through the first round, which is recorded and a team of judges decide. So we make it onto the final round.
Okay.
Which is in front of the entire school.
Cool.
And there's 3 or 4 groups going. And everyone else chose to do something else. A different song, a big dance. And we did the exact same thing.
Uh-huh.
And that was the first time I ever bombed. Like,
Sure.
The song is so long. And for some reason, it was like Hawaiian shirt day or something. I just remember us up there in Hawaiian shirts and thinking on the inside, I'm gonna die here.
Right. And I'm gonna die in this shirt.
I'm gonna die in this shirt, and this song is never gonna end, and this is horrible, horrible. And it's just looking out on every single brightly lit face in that gymnasium on the bleachers, and everyone watching us with hate in their eyes as we get an applause that was equivalent to this.
I don't even know if the mic's going to pick that up. I think what's lovely about your bad idea, and I think we can do this in an organic way, is construct kind of what a bad idea consists of.
Yes.
Or a very earnest bad idea consists of. And I think yours is a perfect example of, I think a key element to a bad idea is that until it's happening, you 100% think it's going to be great.
Yes. There has to be no doubt in your mind that this is going to be incredible.
Yeah, right, exactly.
You have to be so confident in it that you are picturing other people's reactions.
Yeah, right, exactly. You stayed up the night before because you were too excited about how everyone was going to react to this thing.
Yes.
So, my most favorite bad idea was I was in college, and it was my senior spring. So we were, we were enjoying our last few months of college, and two of my roommates got very, very, very sick from like flu and mono kind of situations. And so my house was kind of like the place where people came to hang out. They were both sick. Several of us were hanging out while they were sick, and we were like, we don't want to get sick.
Right.
But we do want to drink.
Yeah.
And we do want to like hang out, drink, pregame, and go out for the night. So we decided, and in this group, there are several consultants, future doctors.
Oh, God.
Lawyers.
So a successful group.
A relatively successful group.
A high IQ group.
At least an elitist group, a pretentious group. We, in all of our 22-year-old brilliance, decided that the best thing we could do was to drink our terrible beers that we had, but put emergency powder into the beers.
Oh, gross.
So I think this is another part of a really bad idea, is that when we first tried it, we were like, oh my God, why doesn't everyone do this? This is amazing.
Yes. There has to definitely, an earnestly bad idea, there has to be a moment of like, aha.
Yeah, like we're geniuses.
Yes.
Because I think the thing was, now that I'm really thinking back on it, what actually happened was we invented a like incredibly, incredibly bad Radler or like Shandy.
Yeah.
We essentially took citrus and beer and put them together, but found the worst versions of each of those things.
Sure.
Like a powder that's only there to keep you from getting sick.
Yeah.
Even maybe just placebo.
Right.
And then terrible like PBR, natty light kind of situation, because that's all we
pretty
could
much
afford.
water.
Yeah, exactly. And by the end of that drink, we were all like, why did we think this was a good idea? This is disgusting. We finished the drinks, but we did.
Wow. There is definitely something from like being that age. Not that everyone has to drink, but if you do start drinking around that age, everyone has like one time that they're like, this is a cocktail.
Yeah, for sure.
This is how it's done. And you don't do it thinking I'm a little trash rat.
Yeah, no.
You do it thinking like, okay, you're welcome.
No, it's like, this is so true though, is that like when you first are allowed to drink, whether you're allowed or not, I should say, when you first start drinking, everyone thinks that they're the world's best mixologist.
Yes.
Like everyone's a terrible mixologist.
Yes.
They're like, oh yeah, you can just mix these things together. And your understanding of how cocktails work is so rudimentary.
And mine still is.
And you're like, I know that vodka is a thing. And I know that rum is a thing.
And I know Dr. Pepper's a thing.
Put together? Dr. Rum?
Ugh.
I don't know. I can't do that anymore. No. Ugh. What are the other elements, do you think, of just like an endearingly bad idea?
I think when it goes wrong, it has to go more wrong than anyone could ever imagine.
Yes,
And
definitely.
I don't even know if it would be endearingly. Do you know what I mean? Like, shit can hit the fan,
Sure.
but it can still be earnestly bad.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is like, I have to earnestly believe in it. And it needs to go very wrong.
Yeah, I think it can't just be one thing goes wrong. It's
No.
the equivalent of like your pants fall down.
Yes.
And then you trip while trying to get somewhere to pull your pants back up.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
that second act.
Yes, there has to be a second act. It can't just be like,
Oh no, this one embarrassing thing happened. It's like, no, this
it can't just be an embarrassing story.
No.
No.
It needs to be like this embarrassing, or it's like an equivalent of this would be the way that an embarrassing story becomes a bad idea is that you're trying to tell an embarrassing story, and halfway through the embarrassing story, when you're at this dinner party with all these people you admire,
Yes.
you're like, oh, this is going to be great. I'm going to add to this conversation. About 2 minutes into your 4-minute story, you're like, oh God, this isn't a good story.
God, that happens to me every time I open my mouth.
That happens to me a lot.
That happens to me all the time. Especially at work, I will constantly start talking and then partway through be like, in my head, my inner brain is screaming, stop talking. And I just can't.
Yeah, where it's like even your inner monologue is like, I'm bored of this.
Yeah. And you're like, I think I can save it. And you cannot.
You can't. You're like, oh, here's a good way to jump out. No, I brought something else in and that's too much context. And now I
Yes.
need to explain this other thing.
Yes. Josh.
Uh-huh.
So you studied history
I did.
and I also studied history. I just don't talk about it very much,
Sure.
but I do have a degree in American history.
Wow.
Thank you. And can I tell you one of my very favorite stories
Sure.
from American history?
Okay.
I feel like that. Sorry, I don't care. Okay. So, Josh, have I told you one of the most epically bad idea stories of all time? And buckle up, listeners, because you might be sitting there being like, I don't like history. Well, guess what?
We both have degrees in it.
You learn something new every day, and this is what you're going to learn today, and you're going to love it. Do you know the story of Theodore Roosevelt and the River of Doubt?
River of Doubt?
Yes.
No, I don't.
Here we go. This is, I read this incredible book. It's The River of Doubt by Candace Millard. So if you like this, that is who it's from. But basically, Theodore Roosevelt lost his long shot re-election bid for the Bull Moose Party, right?
This is 1912?
Would have been right around there. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he was so mad at the way his party was running that he's like, 2 months before the election, he's like, I'm actually going to run. And then the Republicans, now more closely aligned with the Democrats, but they were like, oh, you can't do that. We have someone nominated. And he's like,
Because it was Taft.
because it was
at that
Taft,
point.
his enemy, his former best friend. And so then
I have a musical about it. I'm familiar.
Yes. So then he runs as a Bull Moose Party and he loses, which was the plan all along. So then after he loses, he is to go on a speaking tour of Brazil.
Sure.
And while he was in Brazil, the plan was his buddy at the Natural History Museum was going to accompany him down there, and they were going to do a very organized, planned out trip to find specific specimens for the museum.
Okay.
And they said like 4 times when he was heading down there, they're like, Teddy, you stick to this itinerary. And he's like, got it. And they're like, you don't go anywhere else. And he's like, why would I go anywhere else? And they're like, cool. So you promise us. And he's like, yeah. And they're like, because we're sending down like 4 or 5 people to watch you. And he's like, do not worry. And the second he's down there, someone goes, Teddy Roosevelt, have you heard of this thing called the River of Doubt? It's a river no one's ever gone down before. And Teddy Roosevelt goes, we're going down the river.
Oh, God.
So the former president of the United States and his son Kermit, and Kermit is his son, and 17 other men travel down the River of Doubt, and it is a spectacular shit show.
Sure.
Everything that can go wrong goes wrong. They are literally being hunted by a tribe the entire time. Canoes keep breaking, and every time a canoe breaks, they lose 3 more days. And they're very short on time anyway because of flooding conditions and things like that. All of them get malaria.
Okay.
Teddy Roosevelt gets a cut in his leg and he almost dies. and he keeps pushing through. One of the people on the group murders another person in the group. Like, it is pure chaos.
Oh my God.
And they get to the end, and Roosevelt's like, well, we did it, boys. And they rename it. I believe was renamed Roosevelt River.
That's... Oh my God.
Yes.
Lot to unpack there.
There is so absolute much to unpack. But so Roosevelt, this essentially kills him. Like 5 years later, he dies from this.
Sure.
And so when he gets back, though, to DC, people are like, we think he lied. We don't think Teddy actually did this. And he is so mad that they don't believe him that he goes to all of these, like the National Geographic Society and the Royal Geographical Society in London, and he does a full tour. And he can only whisper. He is practically on his deathbed being like, you sons of bitches, I went down that river.
Wow. Yeah, no, I think that illustrates another element of a bad idea, which is that you can't back down from it once you started it.
You are fully stuck.
Yeah, from what I know historically about Teddy Roosevelt, he seemed like a son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Just like the kind of person who you're better off being like, do this thing. And he'll be like, I shan't.
Yeah. Yeah. I just clearly the people that owned the Natural History Museum knew some shit was about to go down. Because they said to him so many times, you are going to follow our directions, right, Teddy?
Yeah.
And he's like, yes. For sure.
Surely.
And the second it's mentioned that there's a very dangerous adventure to be had.
Yeah, because I think it's funny that like everyone knew it was a bad idea, but everyone pretended it like wasn't a bad idea.
Well, and you're
like
right.
if you ask that many times, you know you shouldn't do it.
Yeah. and also like I really wish I'd read this book more recently and could pull more information.
No, it's
but
fine.
That is the gist of it. Also, fording a river, there's kind of no turning back at some point, right?
Yeah, well, a river goes one way.
Right. Like at some point.
I think the biggest part of this is getting hunted.
Yeah, they were straight up hunted.
Yeah.
By oh gosh, what's the like technical name for it? Like an undisturbed tribe.
Sure.
And the undisturbed tribe, I think, killed like future groups that tried to go down the river. So they must have been Bull Moose Party fans.
Yeah, right, exactly. We're trying to make safe passage only for this one electoral party.
And it's like, it's so wild to think of. And I don't think we give it enough credit because we're used to Teddy Roosevelt being an insane person. And so stories like this that are absolutely buck wild. People are like, that's Teddy. Can you imagine if Barack Obama did this?
Yeah, right, exactly. Or if it was like, well, this is where like the Darwin Awards come in.
Right.
Where it's like people get, literally they get told, like they get an award for dying in the most spectacularly dumb ways.
And Teddy Roosevelt was the president.
Yeah.
That's like the most famous man alive.
At that point, yeah. And it was like, I think the bigger thing is like when you're done being president, you don't do anything else.
No, you're just supposed to sit.
You just sit and you show up at stuff sometimes.
You certainly don't go march around a river.
No.
No.
You don't risk your life. It's not worth it.
No. Well, Obama does do a lot of windsurfing now.
This is true.
That is true. That is kind of his thing.
Bad idea that I get into most often is late night purchases.
Oh, that's a special brand of bad idea.
Yeah, and it's both food and goods as well. I know some people who they'll get drunk and their thing is that they will like buy things on Amazon.
Yes.
Or like sleep walk and buy things on Amazon off their wish list.
That's unhinged. Yes.
Yeah, but people do it and then they get little surprises for themselves. I don't do that. It's more that like past 10 p.m., if someone put it in my head that like you do need this costume. I'm like, all right, let's do it. It's less than $50. Let's do it.
Wow, that's a high threshold.
But for the memories,
What are the worst things you've ever bought?
I feel like the thing that makes me feel the worst is I hit like 9:30 p.m., 10 p.m. and I'm like, man, I could go for like a burrito right now. And it's
so
food
late night
wise.
food.
That's my biggest one, is because like you want the food at 10 p.m. and you order it at 10 p.m. and then it comes at 11 p.m.
And you no longer want it.
and you no longer want it, or you really want it, but the time between you eating that food and stuffing it down your dirty little gullet is like so short between then and sleep time that it just sits in your tum-tum.
Oh gosh.
And it's really bad.
Have you ever bought, what's like the dumbest thing you've ever bought on Amazon?
Let's go through my history.
Ooh, okay. Okay. I want to go through it.
So I think the thing that I get most impulse purchasey about is like, if I get a new hobby,
Yeah.
I immediately need to buy gear and everything around it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So, listeners, Josh and I have exchanged our Amazon accounts.
Yes, our computers.
So we can go through each other's accounts and see who's made the most earnest decisions to buy something on Amazon.
Okay.
And you can also hit the next page on mine too if you
Okay,
want to see it.
perfect. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Josh, did you buy temporary white hair color wax?
Yes, I did.
And you at the same time bought a GI watch cap, a Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou beanie,
Yes.
and Dickies unisex drawstring scrub pants.
Yes. And so this was for my Halloween costume last year, but also I was like, I'll wear the scrub pants as pajama pants, probably. Literally have never looked at them again. Yeah. I'm seeing here,
Yeah.
Paula,
I'm ready to defend any of these purchases.
can we talk about the Swiss Chris herbal laxative flakes?
Yes, we absolutely can. All right, so I got this from Amy Sedaris. It is a pore cleanser. You boil water, you put in this Swiss Chris laxative tea, which is this tea from the 40s, and it pulls everything out of your face.
What?
Yep. So you sit there with a towel over your head and then you steam your face with it. And afterwards your face is like a baby's butt. It pulls out absolutely everything.
See, not what I was going to think laxative.
No, it is a pooping tea.
Okay, it is a pooping
But that
tea.
is not, it is since the 60s, women have used it to absolutely just destroy your pores. So a different kind of laxative. Josh, you bought some running shorts?
I did buy some running shorts.
All right, on a scale of, all right, I'm going to click buy it again. Do you want some more?
Honestly, probably. They are very short.
You spent $300 on a travel pillow?
The wire cutter said that it was the best one. So that's actually, I bought, this is a good example of what I end up doing, is that's a travel pillow that I ended up returning because I bought
you tried to sell it to me first. For the same price as it is on Amazon.
Yeah, well, so I was just trying to get rid of it. I was trying to
buy
move some
my
merchandise.
own.
Yeah, I know, but I
even
had
cut
it. You
me
didn't have to wait.
You didn't even cut me a deal.
No. Well, because what ends up happening is I'm like, oh, I'm doing this big thing, whether it be I'm running now, so I have to buy every single type of specialized running socks, or I have to get the best neck pillow for travel.
Right.
And so I end up buying I buy one and then I freak out that I bought the wrong one.
Right.
And then I buy the other one that's their second choice, and then I try it and I'm like, I see why this was the second choice. And I then have to return it, and it's just I'm out the money for that period in which I've returned it, and it's not healthy.
I'm going to click buy it again, too.
No. Hey, Paula.
Hi.
We've gone too long in this podcast without doing a segment, and the cops are going to arrest us.
Oh, gosh.
Because it's Action Actin'.
Chomp, chomp.
Action Actin' is a segment where we read the incredibly earnest police log from my hometown, Acton, Massachusetts.
Chomp, chomp.
Where there are entries for things such as, on Tuesday at 3:41 p.m., a lost key was reported on Mass Ave.
Oh. Did they find the owner?
No, it doesn't say, but at 9:03 p.m., a lost phone was reported on Main Street.
Oh.
Okay, I've got a couple tasty nuggets for you here.
Okay.
One of them is on Friday. This is actually on Valentine's Day.
Aww.
On Valentine's Day at 1:24 p.m., a walk-in reported illegal dumping on Great Road. Now, I imagine that that's garbage, but the 12-year-old in me is like, someone's just taking a poop on Great Road.
I love it when a walk-in reports something because that takes so much more effort.
Right, exactly.
For them to put on their shoes and march on down there in person.
Yeah, and you're like, I was going to go to CVS today, but why don't I just swing by the police station real fast because I've got something on my mind.
I love the idea that these people have never in their lives heard of 911.
Yeah.
And they keep marching down there.
Well, no, I get it, because this is actually, to go back on topic, kind of a bad idea. Like, they're like, it's not an emergency, so I'm not going to call 911, but someone does need to know about this.
Yes.
Also, what if it's illegal dumping where it's like, you're not allowed to break up with that person?
Oh, she's having a hard time. You leave her alone
You
for a
monster.
couple more weeks. It's her birthday.
So at 9:08 a.m. on a Saturday, suspicious activity was reported on Great Road. A male party reported to be quote-unquote
Male party.
was quote-unquote possibly strung out.
Ooh.
Was reported circling around the parking lot before entering another vehicle. There were no issues. The party was having car troubles, and the second party was his father.
People, these are very funny, but also people call the police for the craziest shit.
Yeah, the narrative that they've created,
where they're like, this is a troublemaker.
yeah, this is a troublemaker. This person is probably on drugs. That's the only reason someone would drive in circles.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only reason why you get in someone else's car.
I
It's
think-
drugs.
Now, look, I'm not a drug user.
Sure.
Not to yuck people's yum, but drugs are not for me.
Sure.
I'm already anxious enough without anything else pumping through my
Sure.
system.
And what was the student organization that you were a part of in high school?
Students Against Destructive Decisions.
NARC.
But from what I understand about drugs, from running in the comedy scene and knowing people who like them,
Sure.
I don't think drugs make you drive in circles.
Yeah. No.
I don't know for sure. But I don't think there is a drug where people are like, wow, it's time for me to drive slowly in circles.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And then they do that for a long period of time.
Yeah, it's like what someone imagines drugs would do to someone.
Yes, exactly. Like it is like the equivalent of like an after school special written by people who have never actually been around
Yeah.
a high person before in their
Yeah,
life.
right. It's like, oh, Timmy, I see you're doing a cocaine. No
Timmy-
unit, a cocaine.
Timmy, I saw you put a cocaine up your nose, and now you're driving slowly around a parking lot.
In circles,
In
no
circles.
less.
Who just got in your car? Is that a drug dealer?
You getting another drop?
Are you handing him a brick of cash in exchange for a kilogram?
Yeah. For another brick of that wacky white dust.
Do you really consider yourself quite the snowbird, huh?
Saturday of this year.
Yes.
Saturday this year, 8:08 p.m. 8:08 p.m. on a Saturday. A lost iPod was reported on Central Street. This party was spoken to. It's 2020, folks.
You know, somebody did you a favor.
Yeah, right, exactly. Someone stole that iPod because no one listens to iPod.
You look frankly embarrassing.
Yeah, right. It's chunky. It's big. You can't take pictures on it. I know you want to disconnect. I know you don't want to be pinged anytime your daughter-in-law asks a question about your family recipes.
You know, I have recently considered going back to an iPod.
Really?
Yeah.
Going analog?
I'm not going to. But I briefly thought about it.
You thought about it? Yeah.
I did.
Yeah. They had a moment when Baby Driver came out.
You said that movie title so weird.
Baby
Baby Driver? It's
Baby
like
Driver?
Baby Driver.
Baby Driver.
You're saying it like it's his title. You're saying it like it's Baby Driver.
Well, yeah. How are you
Baby
saying?
Driver.
No, but you're saying it like he's a baby who's a driver. His
No,
name is
you're
Baby
saying
Driver.
No, you're saying it like he's a baby who's a driver.
No, you're saying
Okay,
it.
say it one more time.
Baby Driver.
No, you're saying it so weird. Baby Driver. You're saying it like it's a tiny baby who's driving a car.
Am I saying it like,
like a
how
cartoon.
Am I doing it like how parents call him SpongeBob?
Yes. It's Baby Driver.
But his name, I guess his first name is, so it's Baby Driver. It's how it should be.
His name is not Baby.
Yeah, that's his nickname. That's what the whole movie's about.
Well, that's stupid.
Well, now we can't have Edgar Wright on the podcast. Or Ansel Elgort, I think. So one of my favorite things is, I think also with bad ideas, you get really, really, really excited about it. And then you're like, oh, yeah, no, I've thought through this. And then one person asks you a question and it deflates the entire balloon.
Yes, completely.
So one time I was talking with one of my friends about a startup idea where it was about like bringing a community together and kind of being like crowdfunding to be able to help your community specifically. And like there were other angles of it and things like that. And then I was like so excited and I was trying to explain it to my parents. And then as I was explaining it, I was like, and I am describing taxes. I've privatized taxes.
You made taxes work for the busy millennial on the go.
Yeah, right, exactly. A peer-to-peer marketplace that's just taxes and doesn't help anyone but me. It's like how Silicon Valley tech bros, there's so many... So two stories I'd like to tell. One is generic, which is there's a lot of scenarios where people will be like, hey, so Lyft and Uber are doing this really cool thing where, you know, people are able to drive their cars. What if but you have to request it, right? And you got to wait
Sure.
for it. And that's an annoying part of the whole experience. You don't know who the person is. It's not as vetted as much, right?
Sure.
So what if it had like, you could go to like certain places in the city
Yeah.
and there'd be like predetermined pickup zones
Okay, cool.
and you could go there and it would follow a predetermined route and you could
Oh.
almost like know when it was going to be there or like a window in which it was going to be there.
Yeah.
And these Silicon Valley tech bros have just invented public busing. All it is, it's just public busing with a private vehicle.
Did they make it?
No, because they were like, people were like, this is public busing.
Oh my God.
So I have a friend who believes,
Me.
not you,
Okay.
who believes that the way to stave off the rat problem in Chicago is to introduce a natural enemy and carnivore of the rats.
Cats?
Snakes.
Absolutely not.
You like black snakes that don't attack humans.
Nope.
They'll only eat the rats.
Nope.
Then see, this is the problem with the idea, is that it would work, but there would also be a lot of snakes.
I would absolutely pack my bag and be on the next flight out of here. Oh my God. Can you imagine how big a snake would have to be that would eat a rat?
It doesn't have to be that big. They expand.
Oh, there's no way. There is absolutely no way. That is a Gruesome idea.
Effective.
Guess what? I'd have to become kind of the St. Patrick of this city.
Yeah.
And I'd lead all those goddamn snakes to the lake. Drown them.
Snakes on the lake
I'd
with
play-
St. Paula.
I'd play a beautiful Piper song and lead them out of my city. Just like my Irish brethren.
Sure. Is that what he did, or are we talking about the Pied Piper?
No. St. Patrick let all the snakes out of Ireland.
Okay.
I mean,
And
that's
this
the
episode's
rumor.
coming out right around then, so
Oh, hell yeah.
stay safe.
That's me playing the song. leading all these-
It's you holding a pipe but singing the
I
song.
also straight up like rats.
Really?
Yeah, Team Rat.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, maybe not like, but I'm fine with them. I am happy to share a city with the rats.
Oh no, I cannot.
Why? They're
It's
fun. They squeak. They're furry.
no, it's the gross kind of fur.
No.
It's the gross matted kind of fur. The fact that they can just contort their bodies as long as they can get their head through something, they can get
Good
their
for
body
them.
through something. Oh no, I am not Team Rat whatsoever.
No. Would you be Team Snake?
No, so I'm not Team Snake either.
You have to pick a team.
Oh God,
Are you Team Rat or Team Snake?
I think I'm Team Snake.
You knew you were going to be Team Snake. You're a snake.
No,
Me and the rats will rise again.
no, because then you can get a Rat King. You don't get a Snake King.
Oh, I will be the Rat King.
No. Do you have any smart ideas that no one would accept? You have a manifesto, Paula?
Well, of course I do. But this makes me think of conspiracy theories,
Okay.
which I could talk about endlessly.
Sure.
Kind of end a subject there. But a conspiracy theory is just a pretty well thought out idea.
It's a really well thought out bad idea.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true. What conspiracy theory do you believe in, if you have to believe in one? And then let's invent a conspiracy theory.
I think the one that is most interesting to me, I don't know if I believe in it, but that there's 200 years of history that just got erased
What?
by the Catholic Church when they created the Gregorian calendar. They just kind of were like, that was really bad time, so let's just not worry about it anymore. We're just gonna, it's now like 1088. It's 1088 now. It should be 1288. It's 1088 now.
Whoa. So you think it's possible we are actually, I had to look at my phone to look at the year. We are actually living in the year 2220.
Yeah, when we're so close to 2222.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What do you think happened in those 200 years?
I don't know. Probably some like really rad shit. Because the church didn't like fun.
Oh, yeah. It was for sure just like, I don't know,
Babe City.
Babe City. Man.
Everyone was making out. Everyone was.
Oh, everyone was kissing. You're telling me there was 200 years of history where everyone was kissing?
200 years of kissing. It's the 200 years
No,
war.
but then that means that like sometimes we would find something and it would be from those lost 200 years,
Sure.
and we would be like, I don't know.
Well, so I think the theory is basically, and I'm not going to look this up,
No,
is
no,
that
no.
like essentially not enough historically happened, and that's not to say that things didn't happen. Things definitely happened. Humans are humans, and people did things. But like they basically were like, we don't really want to make this seem like this took this long because like Christianity's always been there. Wink, 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 wink. And so they just like 400 years of history got kind of condensed.
It was 200 a second ago.
Well, but like 400 or 200 became 0. Like they took a certain amount of time and just shrunk it. So like it was longer in actuality, but they were like, no, we're the ones who can read.
Wow, I do not care for that, but I will be staying up till 2 a.m. reading about it.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
What's yours? Are you a lizard person? Kind of conspiracy theory?
Ooh, well, I do think that Avril Lavigne is dead.
Oh, I have heard this one.
Just kidding. I don't think that's true. Because, like, what a weird celebrity for them to be like, find a body double for Avril.
She's one of a kind.
One of a kind. You know, I don't know if I really
Some
have,
41 would notice.
I don't know if I have a conspiracy theory that I would like go to bat for.
Sure.
You know, like I guess I wouldn't be shocked if Tupac was still alive,
Sure.
but there's none that I'm like,
I have some friends who believe that we made it to the moon, but not when we said we made it to the moon.
yeah, that's a popular one.
Yeah.
We should come up with a conspiracy theory that is so absolutely batshit crazy. And then we both just stick
That it's
to
got to be true.
it. Yeah.
All right, well, let's figure this out together.
Let's figure it out. Okay.
There's no such thing as vitamin C.
Ooh, that's a good one.
It's a full placebo. I mean, this is problematic because it might hurt people, but like...
No, but you know what? A good conspiracy theory might hurt people. Okay, I do really like vitamin C being not a thing.
Yeah.
What about something with like, well, people love celebrity ones,
Sure.
right? You love ones about famous people.
Well, I like the ones that are like, we all collectively dreamed of the movie Shazam.
That's true.
Something like that. Well, now there's a Shazam movie and all this kind of stuff. But like, what if it's like...
The Smurfs didn't exist.
Yeah. Or like, the Smurfs was a...
Smurfs is a good one to have a conspiracy theory
Yeah,
about.
exactly. The Smurfs is actually about...
You know, it's really about communism.
Really?
Yeah, Papa Smurf is supposed to be Karl Marx.
Oh, because I was going to make a joke that it was about the Cold War, but here we are actually...
No, it's truly the Smurfs is about communism. Well, there you have it, folks.
We came up with a conspiracy theory that is a real thing.
Our conspiracy theories are just,
Just earnest.
true facts said scandalously.
Yeah. What if it's like... I like that like something doesn't exist or like rubber.
I love having something doesn't exist. I think that's so funny. Something that people can see with their eyes, feel with
like,
their heart.
Yeah, like rubber isn't real. Or like rubber was created as a food first.
Ooh.
You know what I
Or
mean?
Animals are wearing fur coats all the time. And when you're not looking, they unzip them.
They're all little naked mole rats.
And then when they see a human coming, they quick go bloop, bloop, put it in the sleeves, put it on, zip it up.
Yeah, like a Toy Story kind of situation.
Yes.
Or a
But they have no other motor skills.
yeah, right. Or what's the other one? It's not Paw Patrol. There's a little kid show that I was talking about the other
There
day.
is a Paw Patrol.
Paw Patrol is a thing, but it's another one where they save baby animals.
Baby Patrol.
No.
Baby Busters.
Who are you gonna call?
Baby Busters.
Ugh. We're catching babies? It's not good. I think that's gonna do it for us.
I think should have done this a long time ago.
Thank you, as always, for listening in for another week. Before we go, we're going to do our signature segment, Earnest Moment of the Week.
Mantra.
I have one from one of our listeners from the live show, and I think this is probably going to be our last ones that we were sipping off the old live show.
Oh gosh, if you
Imachos.
have Imachos, please give them to
Yeah,
us.
please send them in because the well is gone dry. This one is 2 of my 6th grade students decided to hold hands during my math lesson. ...
Wow. That is bold of those 6th
I know.
graders.
I was going to say all I wanted to do in 6th grade was hold hands with people, but I was not bold enough to either ask to do it or like if I even had, I was quote unquote dating someone, to do it in class.
To do it in class is beyond a scandal. So that's a really cute story. And I'll tell you what, those kids are going to be trouble. If they're holding hands in 6th grade at an 11th grade level.
Yeah, they're holding hands at a 12th grade level.
At least. All right, I have one, and it is, I went out to the burbs Sunday to babysit my brother's kids so he could run some errands. We had a drawing contest, played Miss Pac-Man, and gave all 3 kids a bath, as well as their new puppy. They stunk. Kid smell. I love that. I had a very earnest moment. So I was on the train yesterday, and this dad and his son were on the train across from us, or on like the seats across from us, and they were playing. They like the dad had that game Plants vs. Zombies on his phone, and the son kept being like, he had to have been like 6 or 7. He's like, I want to play. And then he would like play it for 10 seconds and be like, I need you to win this level for me, Dad. and then the dad would do it and the kid would be like, use this move. And the dad would be like, I don't think we should use that move. And then the next time the kid was like playing a losing goes, Dad, I need you to win it for me. But this time you have to listen to what I tell you to do. And everyone on the train was just like watching to see what happened.
That's so cute.
It was really fun.
As always, thank you to Ryan Cruz for our beautiful logo. She is at RB Cruiser on Instagram. And thank you to Dylan Dutch for our theme song. He is at Dylan Dutch on Twitter.
And please, if you don't already, give us a little follow on our social media accounts. We are at Being Earnest Pod across the board. Please email us also your earnest moments of the week at beingearnestpod@gmail.com, because honey, we are out.
Fresh out of Imajwas. And until next week, just remember, the vitamin C isn't real.
It's not real.
It's not real, folks.
Thanks, everyone.
See you next week.